Hi, YouTube. So, I want to talk about my experience of being fired in fashion. It happened to me a few times, but I'm going to talk about these two incidents because it's an important lesson to learn. Now, the first one I'm going to talk about is where I work for a company called Dora Lamb that's in the Upper East Side that do tailoring, right? So when I just started working there, the place was like 12 minutes from the subway, a 12-minute walk. And that's a long walk from the subway, especially when it's freezing cold in New York City and you can't park because unless you can afford to pay for parking. If it's not residential, it's very expensive to park in New York City. And even if you do park in a residential area, it's hard to find parking. It's like impossible. As soon as one car comes out of parking space, another car go in. That's how hard parking it is in New York City. But anyway, it was 12 minutes from the subway when I called before I did an interview and everything. The lady said it's close by from the subway and everything. When I found out the address, I applied through the Craigslist. That's how I got the job. Well, the position it was a production designer position, and the girl who worked there, she was leaving the job to work somewhere else, and she didn't do all her work for like one whole year, and they didn't know. Plus, they wanted what else? Plus, I had to do the recent work, so it's like I start off doing a lot of work. And what else happened at the company? They wanted me to stay, like they would have paid me to work over the weekends and or to stay late, and I didn't want to do that. And that's very common in fashion. They expect you to stay late. Sometimes most of the time you don't get paid. But in this situation, they would have paid me. But I did not want to stay late. Once it's time for me to clock off, I'm leaving. I'm not working the weekend. But I would do my best to try to get everything done between Monday to Friday, you know? But I'm not working over the weekends. And the job was for production technical, not really production designer, but I could be a production designer, but it was more like the technical part of it, like me doing spreadsheets, you know, doing production, calling orders, making sure orders come in, but not so much of design because I felt at the time if I had to do design, they needed to pay more, and they did not pay me a lot. So, towards the beginning of the job, the girl was like, "Oh, I did say I know how to do illustration, and they wanted somebody to do some illustration, and I didn't volunteer because I wanted to make more money. If I would have done it, if I do it, they had to pay me more, but they never say anything about paying more to do the illustration. So I said I'm not gonna do it." Because that was in the job description. So those are the girl that worked there. She was also leaving the company because the girl that I take position also bring along her friend to come with her. So she was gonna, she gave them like 2 weeks or 3 weeks notice or whatever. So the first thing I noticed when it was time to get paid, the girl would cash her check right away. And I was like, uh-oh, because it was a small company. I was like, okay, so as soon as I get paid, I need to cash the check because it might bounce. I was like, wow. So another thing I noticed, what else happened? Yeah, like I say, they wanted me to work weekends and stay after work, and I didn't want to do that. So I know that wasn't a good impression. So my job, I try to get as much orders in and as much orders done. There was another lady, she did sales, and she wanted me to do like work for her, but I had to get orders done, and I felt she was a sales representative. I felt like her job, like me helping her, wasn't important, because if I didn't fulfill these orders, nobody gets paid. So I said I can't do it right now. I can't do whatever she wanted me. She wanted me to cut fabrics, and I didn't have time to do that. You know. So I was like, oh, I can't do it, whatever. So she didn't like me off the back. There's something that she didn't like. One time she wanted me, that this is a sales representative. She wanted me to type something for her. She said, you could type. I was like, yeah. But I'm not a speed typer. And she was like, okay, let me call it. I say, if you have a piece of paper, give it to me and I'll type it. But she wanted to read, she wanted to speak and have me type, and that doesn't work for me. I need to see on paper and then I type. I cannot type something while you're talking. And when she saw I struggle with that, she was like, okay, I'll just do it. So, I think she spoke bad about me, and that's why I got fired. I think she was, because I wasn't really helping her like that. She portrayed a negative image of me to the boss, I feel. And maybe because I didn't stay over the weekends and stuff. But I'm not going to do that. I don't care what fashion company you are. I'm not giving up my nights or my weekends. I'd rather just do something else. But anyhow, um, that's what happened. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Somebody just rang my doorbell. Hold on. Okay, so one time the boss came to me, right? And the boss said to me, "Oh, when someone called the company, you must say Dora Lamb, not DL." And the other girl who been working there, she would say, "Hello, DL," you know. So I was like, okay, I don't have a problem with that. So when somebody used to call the company, I always greet them, "Hello, good morning, this is Dora Lamb," or whatever. So towards the end, when I found out that she was gonna fire me, she told me that before um, they tried to set me up. So what they did, they was somebody from the store, cause they have a retail store in uptown, say that they sent an order in and they never got it. And I told them, well, I searched and I said I don't have it, but they said the order was sent in and they never received it. And I say to them, look, I did all the orders, so there's no way that you can receive it. I don't know what happened to it, because all the orders are done. So the other girl who was leaving the job, she looked through my desk and she realized that I completed everything. I completed all the orders. So if they really sent it, it should have been on my desk. And it never was, because it was a lie for me to get in trouble. To say, oh, we sent you an order and it's not here. But they never did, because everything was done. Everything was completed. I completed everything in a month. All the work that that girl who left the job never did for the whole year. I cleaned everything. When I got there, the desk was a mess. It was disorganized. I organized everything. The desk was so clean when I got there. When, you know. So I was like, okay. So I had more time to do all other stuff. Because I was determined to get all those orders done. They were back up. And like I say, if the orders are not done, nobody gets paid. So I made sure all the orders were done. So later that evening, she told me she was going to let me go. So she couldn't use the excuse, oh, the order got lost, and this is why we're going to let you go, because I completed the orders. So she was going to set me up, and I was so upset. And she said, you know, when somebody call the phone, you're supposed to say Dora Lamb, good morning, good afternoon. You don't do that. And that was a lie, because I've been saying Dora Lamb. Somebody lied to this lady and gave a bad impression, but I didn't say anything, and I was really upset because I had a call from Ralph Lauren, and they wanted me to come in for an interview for production assistant, and I was working there, so I decided to not bother with the interview and just stay there. So if I knew they was gonna fire me, I would have definitely went on that interview. But you never know. So that's my situation with that incident. People set you up in fashion. If they really like you, they will try to keep you, even if you mess up. But they purposely tried to set me up so they could let me go. And she said she will give me an extra 2 weeks pay, you know, but whatever. This other job where I got fired only lasts a week, and I was set up with this job too. So this was a production job where you have to measure your garments, and I told her I know how to do that. And when I got the job, she showed me how she wanted me to measure it, and I thought that was ridiculous. But I'm not going to tell my boss, oh, you don't know what you're doing. But I did it the way she wanted. But when we spec the garments, I expected like measuring the garments. I expected over and over and over, and the way she showed me was inaccurate. So I didn't do it the way she do it. I did it the way I know how to do it. And what I did, I put my initials on every garment that I had to measure. So her boss, I don't know, he flew in, who knows, like he decided to come Friday to do all these garments, and so happens that she got these garments made and the size was wrong, and it was my third day there, and the way I measure it, it was right, because when they have like a fit model, and when the fit model comes in, she says it's too small. And that's the exact measurement it was. And she was so furious because I didn't get to finish it. It was so many clothes I had to measure. It was like 20 clothes in one day. And I didn't get to do all of it. I only did like a few of them. And she realized after her boss yelled at her. She was so angry with me. She was like, who measured these garments wrong? Who did this? And everybody shook their head who was working there. They say no. They say that you did that. I said I couldn't, because every one I did, I put my initial on it. So if it doesn't have my initial, I didn't do it. And they didn't know I had common sense to do that, you know? But she was pissed. And I think she set me up. And how could I get set up when those garments were made before I was working there? So she did something wrong. She screwed up on the order. She made wrong sizes for them. So it's like a waste of money. It's like you have a size 8 pair of jeans and they feel like a size 6. So your whole order is screwed up. So, but she fired me and let me go and tried to make it seem like I did it. But I just started working there in 1 week. You know, they got the stuff made overseas in productions. No way I could have messed up that order. But I was upset. And I was like, this is crazy. And I got the job through an agency called Turtle. And what would piss me off about the agency, they told me I should do something else. And I'm like, this is what I invested my whole life, my career, and whatever she telling her some lie about me, this agency is telling me I should do some other job. Like, how dare you? So that's just my experience about being fired in fashion. It was really no fault of my own. I just was at the wrong place at the wrong time, being set up by people. I mean, you're gonna keep your job if they like you, but if they don't like you, you're not gonna keep your job. It's simple like that. All right. That's it for now. I guess I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.